Welcome to class. The topic for discussion in this lesson is oral literature. What is oral literature? Oral literature is the earliest form of literature. It employs spoken words to pass across information. Forms of oral literature. Oral literature exists in these forms: folklore, trickster tales, myths, proverbs, fables, and folk tales. What is folklore? Folklore refers to the collection of traditional stories, customs, beliefs, and culture of a particular area or country. Everything put together forms folklore. In the Yoruba culture, for instance, a male child prostrates to greet his elderly ones, as you can see in the picture, while the female child kneels to greet her elderly ones. That is the culture in the Yoruba setting. Myths. Myths are traditional stories that talk about the history of a people or explaining a natural event. Every culture has something they believe in. How they came to be. There are stories of how they came to be living where they are. In some culture, they do not go to the river on certain market days. There is a story behind that. That sort of a story is known as myth. When it is about to rain or when it is raining and there is thunder and lightning, some cultures ascribe meaning to that. They have stories why there will be thunder and lightning when it is about to rain or when it is raining already. Folktales, on the other hand, are the traditional stories about animals or human beings that are passed down from generation to generation in a particular society. Folktales are stories. Trickster tales are folk tales in which a trickster is a hero. A trickster is a cunning character. Most tricksters are animals who act as humans by tricking other animals and human beings as well. Every culture has its own trickster hero or character. The tortoise and the hare are popular tricksters. Every story that the tortoise features in, he plays one trick or the other. And the hare too is another popular trickster character. He is very, very cunning. What are proverbs? A proverb is a short, well-known saying stating a general truth or piece of advice. Some African proverbs. Let's look at some African proverbs. One of them says, when an old man dies, a library burns to the ground. A library burns to the ground in the sense that the old man would have seen a lot of times and seasons, so he has a high knowledge of the things in his community or society. So when he dies, many of those things die with him. Rain does not fall on one roof alone. When it rains, does it rain on only one roof? No. This simply means that community members should put hands together to raise a child properly, so that when he grows and becomes somebody in future, everyone will benefit from it. If on the other end he becomes otherwise, it turns out bad, it also affects everyone. Here is another African proverb. When roots are deep, there is no need to fear the wind. Let me explain this way. When a child is properly educated, he can stand the storms and winds of life. Take a look at this picture. The wind obviously was blowing, and the branches of the trees are waving, are swaying. But was the tree uprooted? No. That is because the roots are firm in the ground. So the storms of life will come, the winds of life will come. But when a child is properly educated, it can withstand the storms and winds of life, just as the tree in this picture was able to weather the storm. Arches fly back into the face of him who throws them. This means what goes around comes around. Whatever you sow is what you reap. Everyone will surely reap the consequence or the consequences of their behavior, either good or bad. The fall of a dry leaf is a warning to the green ones. When someone dies, you should think about yourself. You should think about mortality, because no one lives forever. That when you have that in mind, you are going to behave well. Examine what is said, not him who speaks. Everyone can learn from anybody. Concentrate on what is being said and not the person speaking. You can learn a thing or two from a madman. Even a drunk sometimes speaks the truth. So forget about the life pattern of people and pay attention to what they say. Features of oral literature. What are the characteristics of oral literature? 1. Oral literature is composed orally and passed down from generation to generation by word of mouth. Oral literature does not involve writing. Information, everything about it is transmitted by word of mouth. 2. It is a group activity. It involves a narrator and the listeners. Take a look at this picture. You can see the narrator and the listeners. And from what you can see here, the narrator is passing information orally, that is, by word of mouth. 3. It lacks original version or author, because the stories have been passed down from generation to generation. It is difficult to trace the author of such story or the original version of such stories. As they are being retold, as they are being passed down, a lot of things will either be added or subtracted. 4. It is fluid or dynamic. Fluid or dynamic means it's always changing. Things are always being added. This fluid or dynamic because new things are added every time. 5. They are didactic, that is, oral literature are meant to teach or to instruct. 6. They are cultural. The same story can vary from one culture to another. I am sure many of you have heard of how the tortoise went to the sky, how he went to a party in the sky. There are several versions of that story. So it is cultural. The same story can vary from culture to culture. Alright, this is where I will draw the curtain for this lesson. I hope you have learned a thing or two about this topic. Remember to ask questions by making use of the note and comment section, or writing down questions on anything you do not understand in your literature note, and you ask me the questions in class. All right, I'll see you again. For now, goodbye.